Okay, so I have already washed my face, and I am going to take one of my Up and Up, just like the basic little cotton round here, and I am going to use my Up and Up Deep Clean Toner. This has salicylic acid in it. It's going to help with my breakouts throughout the day, just kind of giving my skin a little bit of a barrier against my makeup, and also providing a little bit of acne protection. So I'm just going to rub this all around my face, definitely underneath the chin here, really avoiding the delicate eye area, because you definitely do not want to get this in there, it burns. And then it also will help to close up your pores. It'll kind of refine them a little bit, so that'll help us give a really good base for our makeup. Next, I'm going to go in with my Up and Up Salicylic Acid Moisturizer. Again, a little bit more of the acne treatment, just one pump there. And I like this because it's really, really lightweight, and I can just spread it around really easily. Do not forget your neck. Us women age very quickly in our décolletage and neck area, so moisturizing that will help prevent wrinkles in the long run as well. Okay, now that we've got that all rubbed in, I'm going to take my Maybelline New York concealer in 25. This is really close to my skin tone, and I take this underneath first because I like to just cover up any extra redness that I have. And this will just give us a really great base for our foundation, so we don't see any of that redness through. Take my Real Techniques sponge and just pounce over top of it, kind of buff it into the skin. The tip of my nose tends to get really, really red, so I like to just kind of put concealer over top of that. And of course, in this hormonal area, us women love to get red there, so I do put a little bit there as well. So then I'm going to take my L'Oreal True Match. This color is W6. They have a lot of really awesome colors. They have like warm, neutral, and cool tone bases, so they have a little bit of a color selection for everyone. And I'm just going to shake it a little bit. And then dot it around my face. I love this because I feel like it's full coverage, so you don't need a lot. A little bit goes a long way. Then taking my Real Techniques sponge again and just pouncing that in as well. This is a little bit damp. I kind of like it not super duper damp, because then I feel like it sucks up a lot of excess product that way, but kind of at least a little bit wet. And the beautiful thing about these sponges is that it'll soak up any extra product that you may have, so you have a more natural finish at the end of your foundation application. I do put it over my eyebrows because when you go to blend, or if you have to put concealer under there or anything else, you have a really great base for that as well. Now while that's setting, I'm going to take my other Maybelline concealer. This one is in the color Sand. It's a little bit lighter than my natural skin tone. I put it right under my eye. Just kind of spread it out. I put it on my eyelids for a base, and also to cover up the veins in my eyelids, so I have a more smooth and even application of my eyeshadow. Next, I'm going to take my e.l.f. Perfect Finish Translucent Powder. This one is pressed, and I like the pressed one a lot more because I feel like it lasts a lot longer and it gives a lighter application than the NYX powder that I've tried before. I have it right here, actually. This is the Studio HD Photogenic, and it was pretty, but it kind of it went out very, very quickly, and I felt like it had a heavier application, so it flashed back a lot. And you can already just kind of tell the difference with my skin and how more skin-like it looks. It's still dewy, but it has a little bit more of that matte finish, slightly. I used to like my skin really, really matte, but then I started to realize that my skin has gotten drier over the past couple months, and I believe it's from moving. So I've kind of been testing out new luminous foundations for my more dry skin. I'm hoping that it'll kind of go back to a little bit more moisturized because I did used to have combination skin. Now I feel like my skin's more on the dry side. So then, just to set my eyelids a little bit better, I'm going to take my Anastasia Beverly Hills contour palette in medium, and I'm going to take this banana shade here. Just kind of tap this. This is the Luxie 512 brush. I really, really like it. I got it in a BoxyCharm. It's one of the best brushes I've ever used. So this I'm just going to pat, and notice I'm like pressing it in, because if I move it around too much, it's going to start to pull off my concealer base. So when I pat it on, it really sets the concealer in place because I do have creases in my eyelids. And then the banana powder, the yellowness, will also cancel out any darkness that you may have. And then I'm so excited. I also got this Sephora color switch, and it's so cool because it's like a really like hard, dense, textured sponge in there, and you literally just swirl your brush. I don't know if you can see the dust coming out, but all that excess product is now in here, and your brush is a little bit more clean so you don't have that transfer. So I like to keep that next to me while I'm doing this. Okay, next I like to finish off my face because I feel like I have the foundation for whatever eye look I want to go for that day. So I'm going to take my NYX matte bronzer, and obviously it is well loved. It's very warm. I like that on my skin because I'm naturally more tan, so I do tend to kind of stick to the warmer tones. I used to love cool tones on myself, but now as I've gotten more tan, I feel like warm colors kind of match me better. So I literally just take this. This is the e.l.f. contour powder brush. It is amazing. I think it picks up the perfect amount of product. See how there's like enough, but this is very pigmented as well, the NYX. So I really like to use them in combination because I feel like they just make a match made in heaven for putting on your contour. And since I have kind of a larger forehead, I do like to take my bronzer and put it all the way across just to kind of give the illusion of like a smaller hair or a more forward hairline. Makes your larger forehead look smaller. And I'm just kind of messy with this just because I want it to look really blended into the skin, and I can clean up any other messes that I make later. I do pull this contour all the way in because I feel like this isn't super harsh contouring, like how I'm gonna like chisel out my face. This is more to like bronze up my skin and just kind of give my cheeks a little bit of definition because I do have a very long face, so I kind of like to bring out my cheekbones. So I'm going to use my color switch again and just get all the excess powder off of there because I am going to be using this brush for my blush. I'm going to be taking the Makeup Geek blush. This one's called XOXO. So pretty, just like this gorgeous pinky peach color. And literally this is so pigmented, so you have to be careful. I really just dot it in one time, and then I smile and put it right on my cheeks. I like to kind of stipple it on because I feel like it gives a more natural application. We don't want anything like super flush, but can you see like the difference between the two here? And then, so this one's the blush and that is not. Very pretty. Just kind of gives a little bit of life back to your face. Next, I'm going to highlight using my Cougar Body glitter. This one's called Diamond Kiss. It's just like this really pretty golden shade. I'm kind of thinking that with the eye look that I'm doing today, I really want to kind of stick with the golden tones. And I'm just going to put this with my Luxie brush right on the tops of my cheekbones here. And then I like to pull it around because I do like that sun-kissed glow kind of a look. So at first when you put it on, it gives like a natural glow to the skin, but if you want something a little bit more bright, I like to put 2 coats on. See that shine? So pretty. Next I'm going to take my Ofra palette. I'm going to start with this shade right here, just as something to put into my crease. And I'm going to use this Mally brush here. It's just like a nice fluffy dense brush. This shade is by Geek. It's called Frappe. I'm just going to lightly dust it in. This will just kind of give us a really great transition shade. Transition shades are really great for blending because once you put those colors underneath, you're actually able to really easily blend up, and they kind of go on top of each other so you have that smoothness within the blending of your eyeshadows. Next I'm going to take my Morphe palette. This is the 35N, and I'm going to use this kind of creamy shade right here. It's a little bit on the warmer side, and my Wet n Wild, these brushes don't have names, but it's just a nice little fluffy brush, a little bit more dense and less fluffy than the Mally brush that I used. And I'm just going to put this right up here all the way to my brow bone, just to kind of give it a little bit of lightness and a little more blending in through there. I'm going to go back into my Z palette here, and I'm going to use this shade right here, this gray shade. This is an Ofra shade, and they don't have names, unfortunately, but it's just like a, kind of like a greenish gray almost, and I'm just going to stick that right in the crease. If you don't have a crease, when you look up, right where that fold is in here is where your crease is, or you can make one wherever you feel is best for you. But I'm just doing this to just kind of deepen it up a little bit for our next colors that we're going to put on. And I'm just going to pull this out just a tad because I like my eyes to have an uplifted shape. Since my eyes are more almond, I kind of have this where they go droop down a little bit. I like to bring that up so they look a lot more open. Just going to do that to this side too. Make sure they're even. So that's kind of what it looks like right now. I'm leaving my lid completely open for a purpose. So we're going to get into that here now. So now I'm going to take my Urban Decay palette. This is the Vice palette, the Urban Spectrum eyeshadow palette. I'm going to take this green shade here. It's called Junkie. It's gorgeous. It has like glitter, but not too much. and it's very, very vibrant. This is my Sephora flat shadow brush. And I'm really, honestly, I'm just going to take it and swipe it lightly, because this is pigmented. See, I barely touched my eyelid. One thing you can do if you're like afraid of fallout, this is the one thing I really do save that loose powder I was kind of dissing before. If you just take it on your sponge here, I'm going to zoom you out a little bit. Oops. Hello. You just take it and just press under here. Later on, if you do get any fallout, you'll just be able to wipe it away and it won't ruin your concealer underneath. Next, I'm going to take the BX80 brush by Royal & Langnickel, and it's just like this really nice flat shadow brush. It is so awesome for packing on pigment, and I'm also going to go back into that Urban Decay Spectrum palette. I'm going to use this more olivey shade. It's called Protest, and I'm just going to put that right over top of Junkie, just to kind of give it a little bit more of a warmer green. I feel like Junkie is kind of like a cool toned green, almost into going into teal. So I wanted to make this more of a wearable green. And then with my Wet n Wild fluffy brush again, I'm just going to stick that in my Sephora color switch, and I'm going to go back into my Ofra palette and take that gray shade again and just lightly go over the crease area just to kind of blend the two together. And I'm also going to bring the gray around the V area of the green here of my eye, just to kind of give it more of that shape that I'm looking for. Kind of have it fan out a little bit. You should have something like this. I'm just going to take this camel color here and just lightly run that underneath my eyes. I'm going to be using my Sephora Dome brush. I love, 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 love this brush. Just kind of dip it in there, run it under. It's just kind of like the transition shade for what we're going to be doing underneath. Perfect. And then with my Wet n Wild flat shader brush, this is super duper thin, I'm going to go back into my Ofra palette and I'm going to use this darker shade here just at that lash line, just to kind of give it some depth. And see, it's just kind of like liner, except for it's not as harsh as if you were to put a black eyeliner under there. So I really like how this is turning out so far. I'm just going to go back with my Mally brush and just lightly buff these edges out just a little bit more. I like my shadow to be a little bit more defined, but that was a little bit too defined. So see how it just kind of blended it out a little bit, just kind of buffed it really nicely. Now in my waterline, I'm going to be taking this Wet n Wild Color Icon pencil. This is called Turquoise. I'm just gonna run that right over top of where I put that black. And I feel like it just kind of gives it a little bit more of that pop of color underneath. Kind of adds to the smokiness of the eye. Then I'm going to curl my lashes. Then I'm just going to do some falsies. These are they're actually from Revlon. I got them at Walmart. They were probably like $4 and they are gorgeous. They are the Beyond Natural lashes and they're in the style 91303. So super easy to apply. And then I'll also be taking my Ardell, here it is, my Ardell Lash Grip Adhesive and using that to apply these. So now I'm going to just kind of do my brows a little bit. I love how they are right now just because I have tinted them and I work at the Regis Salon in Woodbury Lake, so if you're ever around there, totally stop by and see me. I am the manager there and I can get you some tinted brows, girl. Just throw that in there. So I haven't been filling them as much as I usually do because now they are a lot darker and they fill out a lot more. So sometimes I'll just put, well, I put mascara in them, honestly, so sometimes just kind of throw mascara in them, or even I have the brow setting, oh here we go, the Brow Gal by Tonya Crooks, and sometimes I'll just even set that in there and just let them go. But today I kind of feel like since my eye is a little bit more on the bolder side, I do want to kind of fill them in a little bit. So I'm going to take my Anastasia Beverly Hills Brow Pomade. This is medium brown, and my Sephora Angled Liner Brush. Just kind of dip that in there and just lightly kind of go through on the bottom here. Sharpen it up a little bit and just give it a little bit more depth than it has. Sometimes the hardest thing to remember is eyebrows are sisters, not twins. And so, I mean, if you can't get them 100% perfect, not only do you just, you know, need to keep practicing, but also realize that each of them has their own hair pattern and hair growth, and they're never going to be identical. They just won't. Like these ones in here, my eyebrows grow up on this side and they grow to the side on this side. So I just kind of go in and kind of do upstanding motions, like flicking them up. So it gives the illusion that these brow hairs actually stand up instead of go to the side. And another awesome thing is even after you just kind of lightly fill them in like this, or you can go hardcore, I've done that too, I will take the brow, this one's in clear by the way, the Brow Gal pomade, and just lightly go over my brows. These ones I'm going to flick up, and then I'm going to switch to the side, and then I'm going to tame these ones down. So then these ones will dry up and give the illusion that they're a lot more similar in their growth patterns. So that really, really helps me. And then now I'm going to finish off with my eyes. I'm just going to throw some mascara. This is the Rimmel Scandaleyes mascara. And everything will be listed down below as well. And I'm just going to literally go with my natural lashes and blend them into the falsies with mascara. I found that this is a lot better to do it this way. I feel like it blends a lot more. And with the Ardell lash glue, it doesn't hurt my eyes when I pull the lashes off at the end of the day. So I feel like I can really get the band pretty close to my natural lashes, and this will just help to kind of blend them. Curling them first is, to me, essential because then some of my lashes stick straight down. So when I curl them, then they'll all kind of just mesh perfectly with the falsies in there. And then this mascara wand is a little bit too big for my bottom lashes. So what I do is I just got this curved brush mascara from Color Mates from the dollar store. And I only use it for my bottom lashes because it's not, it doesn't really do much for curling and stuff as you would expect from a dollar store mascara. But I do just lightly run it over. The one thing I will give it props for is my under eyelashes are so long that a lot of mascaras will actually run on me and give me like raccoon eyes. This one does not. And the brush is really tiny, so when I go in and I put the mascara on, it'll actually get it on my lashes and not anywhere else that I don't want it to be. Tried really hard there not to make the ugly mascara face. Just kind of dry them a little bit so they don't get on my underneath. And since we did go a little bit dramatic on the eyes, I am going to take my Maybelline Clay Crush. This is just a really pretty nude shade. It has a little bit of warmth that'll match really well with that crease shade that I put in initially, the Frappe from Geek. It's going to look gorgeous with this, and I mean you can really pair it with any lip that you want. I kind of like to keep it on the warmer tones with green just because I feel like it's like right in between. When you first look at the color wheel, you start to move from warm into cool, so that's the beautiful thing about green is you can kind of mix it with anything. Okay guys, that completes this look, and if you want to see how I got these really nice pretty light beachy waves, I also have another tutorial on my channel that you can click on. It's the flat iron curl tutorial. I do all my curls with a flat iron. I think it just makes them look so much better, and it's really easy and it smooths them out. So if you want to check that out, I'll link it down below, or you can check out the rest of my channel for other videos that you might like. Please don't forget to subscribe to my channel. I would totally love that so you can see more of my beautiful makeup looks and also my hair and skincare tips. So I hope that you enjoyed and have a lovely day. Bye!